Welcome to BP Leadership Podcast, where real leaders are made. I'm your host, Bill Purvis, and today we're going to continue a conversation that we began a while back with my dear friend, Hunter Patchin. I brought Hunter on about 3 years ago, and boy, he has made a great difference when it comes to leadership and running this company. I couldn't do what I do without him. I am indebted to him and lean on him for so much. But he's one of those young millennial guys who's got teachability and a hunger and a passion to help others to grow. And I promise you, he's an encouraging guy that's going to help us. And we're going to look at why it's important to use the time you have right now, whether young or old, whatever it is, the present moment now to grow in your leadership. Even going to talk to you about how you can help others to grow with the things you learn. So it's going to be a great day, good podcast. Looking forward to getting started. Let's do it right now. Yeah, and let me now. Here's a thought to it, I think, and we all do it. When you're young, the thing you deal with the most when you do get passionate is patience. Yep. And they just want it now. And I was there, gosh, I look back, I say, if you'd asked me if I could go back and do do-overs, is there anything that I would do over? I would have probably been more patient. Mm-hmm. And that comes to maturity and patience are what, go together. You have to learn patience to be mature. Yeah. But I look back and say, there were a lot of people that are still on the bus that they were holding on by the fingernails because I was making so many turns and changes and moving. And, when I got through, they were just tired. And they loved me is the only reason I stayed on. Yep. But I ran at a faster pace and I was less patient than I should have been. And I think the older we get, the more we think that. I guess a word to the young people is you don't have to have it overnight, but you have to be making progress every day. And that may be the best way. I've never said that before, but that's a good saying.
That is really good.
Yeah.
I like that because that's how it is. We see a lot of us look and we see our parents' success and we think going into it, we need to have the success that they have right away. And we want to do it. We don't want to live a life where we work for it. Not all of us, because I don't mind, because I've had the best parents in the world. They raised me on, you ain't just going to get handed anything. Right. You got to work for it. Yeah. You're going to work for it, and then you'll earn it. Yeah. But I see a lot of younger people in the millennial generation and others that they don't necessarily want to work for it. They want to come out and say, all right, I've already got it. They want to have the house with the 2-3 car garage, and they want to have the nicer cars. And they want to be able to go out and eat all this at these restaurants all the time. And they want to be able to live the lifestyle that they see their parents and the social media influencers. The people out there that they're watching that have all the money and all the influence. They want to live the life that they live without having to put the back end and the back work and the blood and the sweat and the tears and the force towards it to get that success. And
they're going to have the debts. You get both. Yep. They're going to get the debts with it, and then they're going to get the stress of it, and then it's going to take its toll on their marriage because they had to get there too quick. You're right. Exactly. That's best. It is that's part of that lesson is you want to really spend your life being prepared for when that opportunity comes. Rather than just jumping out there and not being prepared, because you'll last and stay in the game longer if you can be prepared when you get there. And that's part of that. If they could, the patience part is a big deal. Yeah, that's sweet.
But they always say when opportunity knocks, it's too late to get ready.
Yeah.
So you better be ready. So you train and you learn and you do all you can right now. That way, when the time comes, you're ready. That's like one of my favorite Bible verses. It says, if you're too lazy to plow, if you're too lazy to plow in the right season, you'll have no food at the harvest. Yeah. And it's saying you're not plowing, if you're not working your butt off and you're learning, you're taking time and you're reading and you're intaking all you can now and not trying to get there already, when that time when the harvest comes and it's time for you to have all those rewards, you ain't gonna be ready. Right. You're not. You're gonna be sitting there saying, "Man, I wish I would have taken more time, and I wish I would have done more." Yeah. And that's a lot. Is I don't want to live my life and look back. I don't want to get 10 years from now and look back and say, man, I just wish I would have done more.
You're right.
I want to look back with confidence and peace saying, what? I did everything I could with the time I had. If it ends, if all this goes away tomorrow, that's okay because I'm satisfied with the work I put forth. Yeah. What's the next challenge? What's the next thing from here? Yeah. And so.
Oh, you're right on. And that's the thing. Hunter, I got to tell you this, and I said this to the audience. When I saw you and brought you on, I knew then I said, here's a guy who's got a lot of potential. I mean, you got the hunger, you got the humility, you got the heart, which are the main ingredients. And then on top of that is that desire to keep growing, and you're a great communicator. You're high on relationships. Your leadership skills are high. I look at you and just say, man, there's a leader right there. That's one of those that I'm looking at now and saying, oh, yeah, you think he's good now? Just wait. and there are guys like you and a few others I see that I say, I'm going to be the one that one day sits back in the old rocking chair and says, I knew him when. And I love that. That's the biggest thing. That's what you bring. So
well, thank you.
You're making a huge difference around here.
Thank you.
I mean, the generation that you're reaching is great as well. So it's been fun.
I'm appreciative of it. Thank you. And I appreciate that, but I can't take any credit for it. And that's why I'm so fired up about it.
Yeah.
It's because it's not me. It's you. It's the people I've had that have taught me this stuff. So that's why I'm so fired up about BP leadership. That's why I want people to learn it. That's why I'm so excited for this podcast and for the live luncheons and recordings that we do in our local area and the subscription where people can be members. And it's because I've seen it. I've learned it from you, and it's helped me. Yeah, so why wouldn't I offer
running
anybody
that
else?
And doing that. Let me ask you this. What if somebody said, I wanted to get, how do I get monthly subscription or how do I get involved? Because we teach it live.
Yeah.
So it'd be like sitting in on the live audience, live interaction. And so, but how do they get that? What do they do? What all do we offer there?
Yeah, you just go to our website, and some people may be watching it on the website. Some people may be watching this or listening to it on a podcast or on YouTube. You just go to our website, bpleadership.com.
Okay.
We've actually just revamped it. We're revitalizing it. We just added a bunch. We've got all 200-plus leadership lessons that you've taught over the last almost 20 years are all logged and loaded. And we release a new leadership lesson each month to those that do sign up. And not only that, you go to the website and you sign up. It's super easy.
So you get the 200, you get access to 200 others.
Oh, gosh, yeah. You get the archives of years past of all the stuff that you've taught.
On almost every subject.
Just about any subject. And we'll even have a search engine where if you want to go in and you don't just want to listen to a random one, you want to know about, finances. What have you taught about finances? You can type in money or finances, and boom, it'll pop up the lessons for you.
And they can make that available to their people as well. If they're a business owner, you get every business, you get every employee on it.
Yep.
And then on top of that, use that as their monthly staff meeting. Take what we did and use that. Now, what's the cost of all that?
It's only $9.99 a month.
Okay.
That's it. It's less. It's $10. Here's how I always say it is you can go and get Chick-fil-A or you can save one Chick-fil-A lunch and you can take your lunch to work one day and save that $10 and use it towards your subscription.
Yeah.
So it's not some crazy amount of money. You can go to these conferences and fly and spend hundreds of dollars in flights.
The hotel rooms.
Thousands in the conference and then 100 or 200, 300 depending on where you're going for the hotel room and all these little food and expenses while you're there, renting the car. I mean, it adds up quick. Yeah. And they're great. And I've been to some, and I love them.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, you can get one for $10 a month, and you've got it right there at your house.
That's
right there at your office.
That's
you can listen to it in the car. You don't have to travel across the world to learn this stuff. You got it right where you are.
Yeah. So if you think just on cost alone, when you bring that up, okay, you're talking about having to set aside a time to fly somewhere to pay thousands of dollars or hundreds of dollars if need be, if it's cheaper. And then on top of that, you got the hotel room, you got the rental car, you got the fuel for that, you got food. And so that's the time, the money, the effort, and all that. And you may at best be able to do 2 of those conferences a year. So you're in deep several $1,000s for just 2 conferences a year. Yep. This way, every month, for only like $9.99 a month or whatever it is, every month you receive it. So you're getting a whole year's worth for nothing.
And not just that, when you go to these conferences and you're spending the money, that's just on you.
Yeah.
You have to double that if you want other people and other employees to come with you. Yeah. That's why we've got 3 different sign-up options. You can change your life, so you can sign up. That's the different sayings. We got change your life. You can sign up for your own personal. You can change a life. I can sign you up for it if I wanted to.
Yeah.
And I can pay for you to have your subscription because I want you to have this membership.
Right.
Or you can change your team. And that's where you can sign up for your team. So you can go spend $3,000-$4,000 and send you and 3 or 4 of your closest employees and your executives with you to this conference, or you can spend $30 to $40 a month and they get this, not just this one time where y'all come sing, Kumbaya and learn all this stuff in one little conference and then go back. You're learning it every single month consistently. You could sign up hundreds of your employees for the cost that you'll spend just to send 10 of them to a conference. Yeah. And so it's just the value of it is so high. The cost is just not even a factor when it comes to the value and the things that you learn from it. It's worth we could charge 10 times as much as we do for the value of it. But we don't, because we just want people to come get this information and we want to see their lives change. We're not in it for making millions of dollars. If we do, great, but we just want to see the lives change. That's the currency we get from it.
That's been the thing. That's it. And we've been offered opportunities. I've had plenty of opportunities for much higher cost to raise it and go. I've tried to keep it low because I want it accessible. A lot of the people that can afford all of the huge stuff, they're going to buy that somewhere. They're going to do it anyway, and they like the experience of that. I want to make a leader. I want to help somebody. And so I think the benefit we offer there is that it's down on the bottom shelf. So anybody that wants to grow can touch it. It's available for them as well. And that's what I like about it, is that we've tried to make it as accessible. And then I say this, and God knows my heart. This is not arrogance. It's not cockiness. It's just confidence. There's certain things after you've been doing it long enough. For 40 years, I've been doing leadership, quietly, privately, one-on-one. I never wanted to export anything that I couldn't do or back up. Now the proof's in the pudding. Now everywhere I go, I just spoke at another conference recently. The fact is, everybody will say, y'all are the only people I know that fly so far under the radar. We're just discovering it, and we're saying, where have you been all these years? But I wanted to do it right. I wanted to have the ingredients before we ever went out. I always said, if it don't work at home, you'd never export it. And so the belief that I have now is that I know this. Some things I'm not sure about. A lot of things I will tell you I don't have a clue about. I can't hardly use technology. But I know I can take a person and mentor them and take them levels higher. I know that. I know that because I've done it. I did it with my children, did it with my family, did it with friends, then did it with strangers, then did it with subscribers, and literally every place we've ever tried it. I've got coaches that are just major coaches, pro athletes and ball players and UFC fighters and people all over this world that'll say, something, it was that one-on-one leadership that did it. And I can say that I know without a shadow of a doubt, if you give me the opportunity, I promise you, we can help you grow. I know that. And so that just makes it's kind of like, you don't ask Tiger Woods, can you play golf? I think he knows that game. I ask Michael Jordan, you ever seen a basketball? I don't know how to do a lot of things, but there's one thing I know. I know how to look at something, a company or a person, and say, if you'll do this and this to little tweaks or try this and this, I guarantee you can get results. Mm-hmm. And so that's the thing I think we know that we provide.
I agree. And it's, like you said, easily and readily available.
Yeah.
And it's for anybody and everybody. So I love it. I'm excited to see what's to come with this podcast. And as we go, and we've got guests on here, and as the memberships grow and we continue to share, see, that's the cool thing about the podcast is they're conversations like this.
Yeah.
You get one-on-one. Sometimes it may not necessarily be a leadership lesson in itself, but there's always underlying things that you learn from these stories that you hear from people.
And some of the people we want to interview, here's what's cool about the people we're going to interviewing successful business people that had nothing, that just made millions upon millions and went global, people that have been undercover police and how they lived in certain situations for sometimes up to 2 years. Different stories that we're finding from people that we're trying to find some people that are just common people that have unusual stories that, we know all the talk shows and all that stuff, and they bring in the people that we all know their name. But there are a gazillion stories out there that people don't know their name, but their stories are mind-blowing. In the 36 years that I pastored this growing church, Cascade Hills, and had a chance to meet people from all over the world, the things that I learned were a number of things. Is there are some people with some of the most amazing stories, and they've never been on Oprah's show. Mm-hmm. They've never been noticed at 2020. No one knows their story. And my eyes pop, my mouth drops when I'm hearing what they're saying, and I'm saying, my soul and body, nobody knows that. And my goal is to utilize this podcast to help a lot of those to be known and heard, to encourage some people, to get some people that I wanted to hear some stories they haven't heard, and we've seen some like that. So that's going to be part of the thing we do with guests along the line.
I agree. It's going to be good. We're going to pull the giants out of the shadows is what I think of. You're going to pull these giants out and get them in the light and share their stories. It's going to be good. So I encourage people, this is about to take off. We've already, you've recorded some for the last several months. Yeah. We've been logging these and loading them up, and we're finally at a point where we're ready to release them.
I love it.
I encourage people listening or watching, sign up, subscribe, hit the subscribe button if you're on YouTube, hit the subscribe button on whatever podcast platform you may be listening to. If you're watching this on the website, go to YouTube, go to the podcast app, subscribe, sign up for our membership, because this is about to take off and it's going to be so good. I've loved it so far, and I cannot wait to see where it goes from here. So I encourage people, grab on now, because we're about to take off, and you're going to want to be a part of this. So grab on now before we take off. So
you're right.
To try to catch up later.
You're right. Thank you, Hunter. Man, it's been fun today. Thank you, buddy.
Thank you. All right, well, there you have it. That was the fourth and final part of my conversation with Bill here on the BP Leadership Podcast. And our next episode is what you have all been waiting for. I'm telling you, this is where it gets good. For the last several months, Bill has been recording and logging these podcast episodes with some just high-class, top-notch leaders within our community that are just absolute experts in their field, and we are ready to release those episodes to you. So you'll notice, if you're watching on YouTube, you'll notice in the episodes to come, the room may look a little bit different because we've upgraded the room as we've gone along to get it to what it is now. But regardless of how the room looks, the content is just absolute pure gold, and I promise you, you want to hear every single one. So make sure that you subscribe right now. Don't go another day without subscribing to this podcast if you have not already, whether you're on YouTube or you're listening on a podcast platform and you're listening to me through this mic. Subscribe, because you do not want to miss the great content and the really cool stories and guests that we will have on here as we move forward with this podcast. So make sure you sign on, get ready. We can't wait to send these out to you. And remember that this is where real leaders are made.